Twisted Christian back with the video entitled Nobody Has Inside Info Concerning the Dinar or the Global Currency Reset. Now I just want to mention a few things about this because I think it's very important how we look at this thing and how we look at our currency investments, and also too to make sure that we're avoiding pitfalls emotionally, physically, financially. The first thing, I hear a lot about gurus, and I just, it's for the longest time, and they've been giving dates and rates and everything else. One of the things that if anybody was to say in about any company, say if the same people that talk about the dinar and their inside intel were doing the same thing with an actual stock, say like Apple or Microsoft or something like that, and they were claiming to have inside intel, right? And then they turn around and they post in the chat rooms or make videos saying this is the, it's going to happen this day, or in some cases that in the past some gurus have called it for this weekend or whatever. But one thing that people don't realize, that anybody who says they have an insider, it would actually be a crime to reveal that type of insider information, right? Because on some level the currency is traded. It may not be traded on the forex markets, but it is traded. You can make money off of it. It is a currency that is being used in a country. And if you were claiming to have insider information from somebody who works in the government or works for a printing company that prints money or whatever, all the different insiders, it would actually be a crime to reveal information that could cause financial disruption, because you couldn't do that with a stock. But for some reason, it's okay for people in the Dinar community to believe just some guy named Dinar Hawk 555, or I've just made that up, and then just spew information claiming it's insider information. And the other point that I wanted to make, that every single date that any guru has said has failed, right? All dates have failed from gurus. So anytime the gurus, all the way back from when I got into the investment years ago, all the dates that they've ever given have failed up to this point. So we're talking about years. And the other thing that we do look for, and I noticed that, of course, gurus have done on this, and I've looked at certain holidays and stuff like that this could happen on. We think this because we think it's going to take time to implement this, right? So if they bring in the lower denominations, and then they have to educate the people, because if you start educating people, a week beforehand, then everybody's gonna start figuring it out. And you never know, they might actually do that. They might actually start saying a week beforehand, we're coming out with a lower denoms. I don't know why they would do that, but most of us speculate this is an overnight thing, especially with the Kim Clement thing, that it's just going to happen suddenly. So we speculate that when we wake up, that they're gonna change the value of the dinar, and then at that point, it would make sense to me, I guess, when they actually do the change, that it would be on some type of holiday or the day before a holiday or a weekend where there's not as many people working, and they would have the extra day to educate all the people, have the banks ready, to be ready on the day after to start exchanging the dinars. So regardless if they're going to RV, or even if they were going to remove the zeros and come out with new currency and not revalue, they would still have to educate the people. They would still have to go through some type of process, but of course it would be an easier process because your 25k note is now worth 25. Of course that would be the easiest. Then you don't have to really educate the people that much. But if it's going to change in value, you definitely are going to have to. You need that extra day. And I would probably, I guess, thinking that yes, we would need an extra day to get all this completed, to educate the people. Because I would think that if they did do this, I mean, you're probably looking at a whole entire week where people are going to the banks and they're exchanging their dinars. As far as in Iraq, the whole process for the people of Iraq, and because you would have a flood of people going to the banks all on the same day to to exchange their dinars. So I don't think it's just going to be like a day process in Iraq. It's going to have to be a several day process. So I think that's where we get that thinking of, as far as when we think that it could change in value on a weekend, like on a Friday, and then maybe there's a holiday on Monday, who knows. But see, the thing about it is that we just don't have any intel. The only thing that we really have is that we speculate, through the words of like presidents or prime ministers, news articles or company articles, government articles, or about, say, for instance, like in my last video that I discussed about the global reset and the gold standard, I showed you, what I've showed you in the past what the president has said about the gold standard. I've showed you I've showed you guys different articles and other videos about the gold standard, about what he's saying about, that we should go to a gold standard. He's trying to appoint people that are trying to do the gold standard. In this last video, I posted how the Japan agreement is some type of gold standard, which is also the same gold standard that's going to be used for the United States, Mexico, Canada agreement. So the gold standard is also inserted in that as well. So that's all that we could do, is that we could just speculate. And, there are people out there like myself and Currency 365 and other people that are actually just trying to do the research and post and try to put all the pieces together so that we could be ready, so that we could be prepared. Especially, other investments have come from, watching this whole thing take place. So that's all that we really have is just the information that's given to us, that we can dig in deep and try to find those things. Because how many people who watched the last video, or are watching this video, if you didn't watch the last video, know that the gold standard is actually inserted in several of these new trade deals with Japan and Mexico and Canada? And so this is my thought too. What if the only reason why this whole China deal, this whole China trade deal is being delayed because the United States is giving them a chance to buy gold? Now I'm going to have some articles pop up here as I'm speaking. But over the last year, China has been buying tons and tons of gold, and so has Russia, and so has other countries too. So maybe they're in preparation of this new gold standard that's going to come. If you want to deal with the United States, you're going to have to come up to a gold standard. So maybe that's exactly what China is doing. They're delaying the system, because China already knew that the deal the president has with the Mexico and Canada agreement has it inserted in there. It's just that the Congress has to ratify that treaty or that trade deal, and then the gold standard will be put onto those countries. And then we have Japan, who's also the exact same thing. They signed an agreement that had to deal with the gold standard. So maybe that's the whole trade deal, is that they're putting in the gold standard, and they say, okay, well, you know what? We're not going to be able to do this until we get enough gold. Maybe they need to have a certain amount of gold. I don't think this new economic system that's coming is going to be completely based on gold. Obviously, it's going to be based on your natural resources that you have in your country. It's not all going to be gold. It's going to be, minerals and precious metals, etc., and oil. It's not going to be just based off of gold. I think gold may be a big part of it. All right, so I've shown you guys that. So that's all that we can do. We could put the pieces together and put some of those pieces together and put it out there. Because whatever I put out, Currency 365, he could take a look at it and look at it from a different perspective, or I could do that with some of the things that he talks about. And so, one of the reasons why I bring this up, I don't want you guys to be any more emotionally involved in dates. Okay, because what I'm showing you, this is a process. Right? They talked about the China deal being phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So this is all going to be a process. And when the China deal is made, all the stocks There's going to be a lot of stocks that go up just based off of that. And I just want you guys to be careful, just to be emotionally involved in dates and rates and all that, and think it's going to be this weekend. And I don't want you spending your time on New Year's Eve checking the CBI site to see if they're going to revalue on the 1st of next year, right? Because you know it's coming. It comes, the dates are coming. It's going to happen on Thanksgiving. It's going to happen on Christmas. It's going to happen on the beginning of the year. It's going to happen on the anniversary date of this and that. And there's a lot of dates that are coming up. Not to say it won't happen, but I'm just saying that I don't want you guys emotionally invested in all the dates, and you guys need to focus on other investments and getting to where you need to be, financially before this whole thing takes place. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to just discuss. Nobody has any intel. It's mostly speculation. Most of us are just putting the information together and putting it out there, getting some ideas from the prophetic like Kim Clement and Mark Taylor and a few other people, and just putting this all together for our benefit so we could keep watch. But, many of these people have said, there's going to be money, there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be made in the global currency reset. And you guys are a part of that, whether if you just have dinars or you have a whole bunch of currencies. Now, when it comes to the cryptocurrency, I still believe that they're going to make another final run, another bull run, but that all remains to be seen. So, a lot of you guys are investing in a lot of things. If you guys aren't, you guys need to be looking. All right. But if you guys like the videos that I make, please go to the Patreon and sign up for the monthly donation, and you guys can get some of the insider information concerning a lot of the Kim Clement stocks and his wells and everything else. You need to go through, when you sign up, start going through all the posts. There's a lot of research, you guys. I don't want you guys just to take what I say. The things that I post on the Patreon, I need you guys to research, because when I do post something on the Patreon, I want it to be meaningful and important, and it gives you guys time to do the research on your own. Okay? So there's a lot of wells that are being discussed on our Patreon. So if you guys like that, go ahead and support. All the support links for Twisted Christian are down below in the description. And with that being said, I appreciate all your guys' support. Share, like, comment on the video. And with that being said, Twisted Christian out.